With everything I've ever done, I'll give it all to everyone for one more day. Another night I'm waking through another door I walk into, I can't break. And it's a wind
Marley is
and it's a long way home.
one of the most special people you'll ever meet.
Someone to tell you it's too
At a very young age,
late, 'cause these are the best days. There's only
she volunteered for
tomorrow, so I
the nursing homes to go up and help.
make the best of tonight.
Now she's only 14 right now, and she was doing that at 11 years old. Just a very, very sociable girl. I mean, she loved dance. She loved everything that involved. If there was a crowd there, Marley was in the middle of it. You know, she got up on stage and sung a Shania Twain song. What's her name? Shania Twain. And man, I feel like a woman. And she just brought the house down. She was just getting ready to get into her teen years, you know, do the things that every normal teenager does, and she didn't have the opportunity. That's what hurts the most to me. You know, one of the reasons we checked for OCD was because she was, she worried, and everything was so consistent with her, you know. For 2 years in a row, she ate the same thing for lunch every day. It was tough for everybody to gather what was going on, you know. Then once it was diagnosed as a brain tumor, then, you know, we kind of went from there.
So much craziness surrounding me, so much going on, it gets hard to breathe.
So we felt this was most likely a low-grade tumor called a pilocytic astrocytoma, which is actually the most common type of brain tumor in a child.
When she was diagnosed, even for the whole year, like, she was fine. You would have never even knew she had a brain tumor, you know?
We just monitored it for quite a while. It seems like probably about 1.5 years, I suppose. We tried chemo, and that knocked her completely down. So we decided to go the radiation route, and
She was better. Her pain was controlled. She was walking, doing well. And I always remember, you know, about 3 months after radiation was done, that was when Marley went to her first Penn State Dance Marathon, and I remember her walking across the stage and waving at people. And it seemed like that was we had made the best decision for her. Except for she was starting to have some changes in the white matter, which is kind of a reaction to the tumor. And that's when the thought was that this could be radionecrosis. Radionecrosis is not something we spend a lot of time with talking with families with possible side effects. It's a relatively rare complication. But when it happens, it's devastating, as you can see.
we did actually try an option or two that we had, like hyperbaric. You know, maybe that would help the necrosis or whatever. That wasn't the answer either, so.
It was pretty much 6 months exactly when she started to go downhill, and she didn't finish 7th grade, and that was the last that she went to school. Whenever she first was having trouble speaking or whatever, you know, the way we would communicate was 1 for yes, 2 for no. And it was pretty much always yes and no, because there was nothing else that we could. And then when that got too hard for her, you know, she could shake her head, and now that's even hard for her, so now it's down to blinks.
At one point we were hoping that, yeah, she would bounce back on her feet. It never happened. So basically the worst part of the whole deal was when they told us Marley wasn't going to get better. You try to go on with your daily routine, and it does kind of get your mind off things. You know, you go to work and do what you have to do around the house, whatever. I guess I just had to keep bringing the bacon home, you know. My wife's an amazing person. She takes care of Marley very well.
Well, I used to work full-time, like Jack said, but when she got the radiation necrosis and, you know, got worse, it was a year ago in May that she stopped talking. She can't talk, she couldn't eat, and she was having trouble walking. And the necrosis just kind of took over, and they said that the only thing that could help that was steroids, which she was already on, and the hyperbaric chamber. So I took 3 months family medical leave from work because we took her every day to Columbia, to the hyperbaric oxygen chamber there. She went every day. It was like an hour and 45-minute drive one way. She would have to be in the chamber for an hour and a half every day. And for 3 months, we did that from the end of August to the end of October. Yeah, every night, like part of her nighttime routine is the grandmas usually come down and help me because Jack's most of the time working, and she gets a breathing treatment about 6:45, and then she gets her therapy vest. Before that, she usually gets her teeth brushed and her mouth care and gets lotioned up. We lotion her real good because her skin gets dry, and the grandmas usually do that, and I go down and get all her meds ready. And then after she has her shaking, then we give her her meds and pull her up and over in bed and get her all situated for the night. And then she gets another feeding. About 7:45 we start that. So once we do all that, then I crawl in bed with her here, and that's our time together. Everybody leaves, and Marley and I hang out, and we talk and say our prayers and whatever else we do, huh, Mar? I usually stay here and hold her hand, or sometimes she is fighting her arm like this. She'll make it, you know, real tense, and so we hold that till she settles in, and she usually sleeps pretty much all night then.
Our special time was Marley and I's was at night every night. Before her bedtime, Marley would come up and lay in bed with me. And that would be our quiet time, that would be our time to talk about what happened that day, and she would go to her own bed and her mom would tuck her in, and you know, it's just them things that you'll never forget. Little things that mean a lot.
We talk about that when I lay up there with her at night, what heaven's gonna be like, and I know that's where she's going. So she was having a really bad day, and we were in the bathroom, and she said, "It's okay, Mom." She said, "I'm ready when God's ready to take me." So she knows where she's going. But really, that's the only thing that keeps me sane with everything.
Some days are better than others. I have good days and I have bad days. As long as she's comfortable, that's a good day. It's very difficult. on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. That's something I hope nobody ever has to deal with. But you don't give up. You can't give up.
So speak kind to a stranger, 'cause you'll never know. It just might be an angel come knocking at your door. I'm knocking at your door, and I'm waiting on an